Hello everyone, I am Gurpreet Singh Kalsi, Assistant Professor in Department of Commerce, Babbar Akali Memorial Khalsa College, Garshang. This presentation tends to explore the concepts of explicit and tacit knowledge, highlighting why grasping the distinction is essential for unlocking an organization's full potential. We will discuss what each type of knowledge entails, how they differ, and how organizations can effectively manage both to foster a culture of learning and innovation. Get ready to delve into the world of knowledge management and discover how to harness its power for sustainable growth. In this presentation, we will be focusing on the following areas. First, about explicit and tacit knowledge. Second, the distinction between explicit and tacit knowledge. Third, SECI model. Fourth, advantages of tacit knowledge. Fifth, how to manage the tacit knowledge. Sixth, knowledge management and the technology. And finally, the closing thought with the key points we will discuss upon. Let's start with the explicit knowledge. Explicit knowledge is the information that can be easily articulated, written down, and shared. It is the kind of knowledge you will find in the documents, databases, manuals, and procedures. Documentation and robust knowledge management systems are vital for capturing and leveraging explicit knowledge within an organization. Think of it as structured information that is readily accessible. Now, talking about the tacit knowledge is the know how which is difficult to express or formalize. It is the kind of knowledge that embeds in skills, experience, institutions, insights, judgment, and personal networks. Unlike explicit knowledge, tacit knowledge is unstructured and learned through experience. Just have a look at iceberg analogy where visible portion that is above the water represents the readily observable aspects such as behaviors, results, or surface level details. On the other hand, the hidden portion that is below the water represents the underlying factors such as thoughts, feelings, beliefs, values, or the deeper roots of a problem. Similarly, explicit knowledge is the tip and can be easily articulated, written down, and shared. It can be found in documents, databases, manuals, and procedures. On the other hand, tacit knowledge is a submerged mass which is tough to transfer because it relies on personal experience, like a chef knowing how and when to adjust ingredients, a mechanic diagnosing a car problem based on the sound. This type of knowledge is the backbone of the company's skills. Let's differentiate explicit and tacit knowledge. Explicit knowledge is easy to articulate while tacit knowledge is difficult. Second, explicit knowledge has high transferability whereas tacit knowledge has low transferability. Third, explicit knowledge is stored in databases and documents while tacit knowledge resides in the minds of the individual. Learning explicit knowledge involves formal training and learning tacit knowledge requires experience, observation, and mentoring. For example, following a recipe is an explicit part versus knowing how and when to adjust ingredients based on the smell or texture is the tacit part. Now let us discuss about the SECI model, where S stands for socialization, E stands for externalization, C stands for combination, I stands for internalization. Starting with socialization, that is tacit to tacit, which involves sharing experience through observation, imitation, practice, and participation, as seen in the mentoring programs and on the job training. Externalization, that is tacit to explicit, which is about articulating tacit knowledge through metaphors, analogies, models, and concepts, such as brainstorming sessions and documenting best practices. Combination, that is explicit to explicit, which involves systematizing explicit knowledge from various sources like creating manuals and building databases. And finally, internalization, that is explicit to tacit, which involves learning explicit knowledge and embodying it through practice, such as reading a manual and then practicing the skill. Tacit knowledge offers several competitive advantages. Its inherent difficulty to imitate makes it a unique source of innovation and creativity. In complex situations, intuition and judgment, both forms of tacit knowledge, become crucial for effective problem solving. Tacit knowledge is also embodied in an organization's culture, shaping its values, beliefs, and norms. It plays a vital role in customer relationships, fostering personal connections and understanding. Ultimately, tacit knowledge differentiates novice from experts, enabling specialized skills and insights. There are numerous challenges in managing the tacit knowledge, which are as follows. First, identifying individuals who possesses valuable tacit knowledge is difficult. Second, capturing this knowledge is hard because it is not easily documented. Third, transferring it requires trust, relationships, and shared context. And finally, there is also a risk of losing knowledge when employees leave the organization. Measuring the value of tacit knowledge is difficult because it is hard to quantify its impact. There are several strategies which help in managing tacit knowledge effectively, like communities of practice. It facilitates knowledge sharing among experts through regular meetings and online forums. Mentoring programs. It helps in pairing experienced employees with less experienced ones, fostering structured and informal relationships. Knowledge mapping, which identifies experts and their areas of expertise using skills inventories and expert directories. Storytelling. It captures and shares experiences through narratives documenting success stories and lessons learned. The after action reviews helps to analyze success and failures to learn from experience, conducting post project reviews, and identifying the best practices. The technology plays a crucial role in knowledge management. The major components are as follows. First, Knowledge Management Systems KMS. It provides tools for capturing, storing, and sharing explicit knowledge. Second, social media platforms. It enables informal knowledge sharing. Finally, AI and machine learning. It facilitates to automate knowledge discovery and analysis, enhancing insights. However, technology has limitations as well. It cannot fully replace human interaction and judgment, which are essential for tacit knowledge transfer. A blend of technology and human interaction creates effective knowledge management. At last, with the closing thought of harness the power of knowledge, let's go through the key points we discussed earlier. First, Explicit knowledge provides a foundation of documented information. Second, tacit knowledge offers unique insights and expertise. Third, effective knowledge management requires a balanced approach that integrates the both. Fourth, by fostering a culture of learning and knowledge sharing, organizations can unlock their full potential. Fifth, it involves creating an environment of belongingness where employees feel comfortable sharing their experiences, insights, and expertise. And finally, the blended mode of explicit and tacit knowledge leads to the innovation and growth for an organization. That's all for the time being. Thank you for watching.